Hello again, and well met, friends. Before I commence the recounting of the Exiyls' lifelong story, there have been a few questions from Sequent 1 put forth concerning the Mythcast, one of which I'll now expand upon, and that is the structure of the narrative and its nomenclature, in terms of it being divided up into the Mythos and the Sequent. The Cycles of Exile as a whole is divided up into 10 volumes, whom the recording scribe chose to name each a Mythos. We begin with the third Mythos, since that is the volume where contact is first made between the young Exiyls and their prime antagonists. Contact twice, in fact, as you'll come to learn. Each Mythos is divided up into sequence, which is a term I applied in transcribing these tales. Sequent is derived from sequence, and in this usage it references sequences of another narrative visual form. Cinema. Yes, the Exiyls, while banished in our world, came to be big movie fans, and one of their impassioned requests was to have their stories told cinematically. Hence, I first transcribed their histories from how they were initially recorded into screenplays. So dividing up the so-called chapters of their stories seemed appropriate to reference them in name as sequences, ergo the sequent. It is my hope that the 6 of them would approve. With that briefly addressed, let us begin. The Exile's story begins the day and night they all first meet, all being between 5 and 6 years of age. There is a great feast, and a gathering of many of the peoples who dwelt in the region of Thracia, in the heart of the myriad prime continent. The celebration is a united effort of thankful cheer after a deciding victory. A victory against a recent wave of a once and now re-emerged tyrannical oppression orchestrated by a dominating, willful hate. The many lands of Myriad had suffered these events several times in the somewhat distant past. The gentle Muriel folk of peace somehow survived these bitter times with the aid of other intervening fortunes or perhaps just plain luck. Yet that was long ago, yet not so long as the world was still full of youthful blossom, and for a time the people and lands again flourished. But woefully in recent years it had begun once more, gradual but certain. Evils that had not been among the Einon in centuries were felt and then seen once again. Led by Captain Galantine of Thorgaldria and his embarwicked knights, the invading hosts were vanquished. And after a period of watchful waiting within and surrounding the newly built stronghold, Embarcadal, protected by its vigilant knights of the Emberclove garrisons, for several years now peace did return. Until this very day of the feast. On Grandius Ifmus, during Low Sage, in the year 1025 Ifmus Aquinae, within the halls of Embarcadal, along the shores of the Elysius Sea, the merrymaking is joyous and deeply heartfelt. It is a gathering of several hundred to join in the cheer of victory, all now seated in formal, ceremonial garb, all of whom dwell among the Thracia region. Apart from the Thorgaldria folk are those from the realms and provinces of Vaer, Havenlock, the Raven Plains, and the undersea abode of Calypsis, people of every size, shape, color, and beliefs. Hefty tables stretch across this castle's courtyard filled with food and drink and pageantry. It is well met for all, the Vaerans, the Quilvaya of Havenlock, the clan Ravenspur, and the Marimers of Calypsis, as all Muriel, have no enmity between them, nor have they ever. No petty jealousies, no prejudices, no ill words or thoughts. Goodwill. They joke, they laugh, they tease one another with cheer, sometimes even digs at a physical characteristic or habit of the other, resulting in ever harder laughter, especially if it is clever or witty. most certainly as the sparkling and bubbling spirited liquors in their tankards flow freely. Now at the head table, Listus Halen and her husband, rugged Captain Galantine, both appearing of some 40 years' stand, followed by all others. The music halts, the eating stops, the mirth falls silent. All join hands and bow their heads. Galantine solemnly recites a blessing. By the elder host's graces we are blessed and thankful for another day and night to remember those who have passed on through the Exequium to dwell in Elysia. Both the Exequium and Elysia will be discussed and explained a bit later in our stories. For all present now, each of their eyes glow with a sudden growing spiritual light. From outside the stronghold, a thin mist gathers round, as it does in myriad every dawn and dusk. Within the mist are low, barely heard beautiful voices and ever more beauteous singing. As it passes, all breathe deep, refreshed from another day's labors, resuscitated to see and take part in a new dawn. Galantine sits, followed by the rest, across the tables. A smiling, gold-vested servant collects finished plates amidst warm greetings and pleasantries. He turns and exits the courtyard. This servant follows a corridor round a bend. He descends several long flights of stairs, then more, ever balancing the plates. He follows yet another long passage, yet more flights of lengthy steps, then turns at last to face a kitchen entrance, only to find a fully armored, wide-horned Grolt facing him. Yes, a Grolt. It's nothing of indigenous Myriel kind whatsoever. It is a beast-like abomination of unnatural creation, bleached flesh with thick, protruding black veins stretching all over it. Crooked, interlooped horns from its misshapen skull, strong black teeth and red eyes with lengthy, greasy, and matted dark green hair. It cannot speak words the Alnayan know of, as its mouth is puckered into an inarticulate mass of twisted flesh. But most formidable is the Grolt's long, thin, spindly, insect-like limbs, sometimes more than two at a time, making it very fast and agile and very, very deadly. This Grolt now stares blankly at the servant and makes a gurgling sound in its contorted throat. The servant peers into the kitchen to see 10 of his kitchen hands dead on the floor. The servant drops the plates with a crash. More horned, thin, and spindly Grolts appear behind him, all with twisted, curved blades, one of which is thrust into the servant's back. At the same moment, on the far side of the citadel, also down several levels and a good ways from their parents celebrating the night away, the children, meeting for the first time, have not quite found the same fervor of goodwill. They sit in a large guest chamber around a fire pit's embers. Though they were of 5 and 6 years of age, they appear a bit older than human children of those same years, perhaps 8 or 9. They are mostly the sons of the realm and province leaders upstairs, and their names were, and still are, Tybane. With a thin frame, sullen eyes, and deep black hair, he is the only one whose parents were not leaders or royalty of any type. His father had passed on, but his strong-willed mother had given birth to Tybane alone, in the wilderness, until she struggled on to reach Ambarsadal, where she was taken in, saved, and so raised little Ty. Alaskar, with his dark complexion and glittering golden locks, he is the son of the Viaran regents, peace-loving, wayfaring philosophers. Lisk, as he's sometimes called, will grow up struggling to share their ever-pacifist ways. Parian, the son of both a human and a Quilvian enchantress. His black and copper hair alters color, sometimes within minutes. He has also struggled in his so far brief life, being the youngest of them all, with his half-Myriel human sides. Thiel, algae-strewn, silk, platinum blonde hair and light skin is a hallmark of the undersea Marimar people. The son of Calypsis regents, he also sports coral brows and cheek gill slits to breathe above water. Delias, the third branch born of the red-complexioned Ravenspur clan leaders, with long, straight black hair, an unpredictable wild child with an innate talent for speed and agility. Brage, olive-complexioned with dark hair, he is the son of Captain Galantine, and the next in line to lead and command the Embarwick Knights. As Tybane also grew up at Ambarcittle with him, he and Brage were the first to meet, though not as yet close. With Brage not yet now among them, it is Tybane who holds court among 5 of the 6 of them. They listen, though not too favorably. Ty tells them that from his usual wandering the corridors of the Citadel, he knows where something is hidden. Delias tells them he's lying. Eliscar asks how he would know where in a castle this size. Perion, the most taken aback by Tybane's taunting personality, asks Ty his name again, which Tybane reminds all of them he's no one they should not believe. So they all demand Tybane to prove it. Show them where it is. Indeed, they don't believe him at all. Perion adds whoever Ty is, he doesn't like him. Boo-hoo, Tybane answers in sarcasm. He's so hurt. Then tells Perion to go away. To the rest, Tybane vows he will lead them out into the castle's vast corridors and show them all. Tonight. I thank you kindly for spending this time with me to hopefully enjoy this cycle of stories. Please do come back, as we'll continue on with the adventures and journeys of the Exiyls in Sequent 3, the Sky-Perched Citadel. Until then, goodwill to you, one and all.